hundreds of struggling Arkansas farmers pleading for emergency federal funding amid a farm economy crisis.
Now, I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
He said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of your love.
5 of my customers have committed. That's how serious that this is.
And what it costs for us to farm is astronomical now.
I farm with paid-for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old, and I can't hardly make this deal work. I'm going to lose 25 or 30% of the farmers in this country if they don't do something. It has to be done, and it's not just here. It's everywhere.
So the people who say no handouts just lined up for a handout. Now tell me why farmers in Arkansas are standing outside with their hands out again, begging Uncle Sam for money. See, when it's regular people struggling, rent too high, groceries too ridiculous, can't afford health care, the answer is always from these people, stop complaining, stop asking for handouts, and pull yourself up by your bootstrap.
Greetings, my lovely people, and welcome back to my channel. So Arkansas farmers are finding out the hard way what happens when politics meet reality. This is a state that went full MAGA. 64.2% voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. And now they are begging for bailouts, after Trump's tariffs left their farms bankrupt. The same people who shouted, no socialism, no handouts, are suddenly the ones with their hands out. So the question is, should taxpayers bail them out, or are they reaping what they sowed? Let's have a deeper look.
Arkansas farmers fucked around and they're finding out. I don't celebrate Arkansas farmers losing their farms, but actions have consequences. They overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump, and now they're finding out that racism, culture wars, and blind loyalty do not put food on the table. They don't. They actually cost you everything. And that now they're asking the government for a bailout. They're asking them for a handout. But I thought MAGA and the Republicans didn't believe in socialism, didn't believe in programs, didn't believe in handouts. They overwhelmingly said no to student loan forgiveness, and now they're asking, for money from the government. Hell no. You fucked around, you're gonna find out. You made your bed, you're gonna lay on it. You're going to go to sleep on it. And hopefully you have one in the morning. But the way it's looking, many farmers are going to lose their farms in 2025 and 2026. They fucked around and they're finding out. And, Kamala Harris had a plan for them. But they voted for this guy. Good luck. Good luck.
So I saw that the soybean farmers in the state of Arkansas are having a find out phase. And you know what I hate to say? I told you so. No, seriously, I'm really sick and tired of the fact that the left keeps having to say, I told you so, because we didn't want anybody to suffer, okay? We voted for everybody to survive and thrive, and you voted for the suffering of other people, and here we are. You are actually the one who is paying the price and suffering, because you can't sell your soybeans to China because what's that? Tariffs. You can't get that new farming equipment that you needed because of why? Tariffs. Didn't the experts tell you that? Didn't people warn you this would happen? But no, you let your internalized hate, racism, and misogyny override literal facts that were right there in front of your face that made you vote against your own best interests. And here you are, expecting a government bailout yet again. You didn't want anybody else to get government bailouts. That's socialism, and you don't like that. So what makes you so different and so deserving when you voted against government money going to anybody who has stumbled upon a hard time? Why do you get it? What makes you better than other people? Again, I don't like that we are having to say, I told you so. Okay, I wanted you to do well. I wanted you to survive and thrive. But this is what you voted for.
Farmers in Arkansas are crying out to the feds for stimulus money like it's open mic night. And look, I get it, because times are hard everywhere. But when you plant your crops, raise your cattle, take on the risk of farming, wasn't that a personal business decision? So why is it on me and you to make sure that that decision keeps paying out? Because see, when you and I make bad decisions, government doesn't cut us a check to make it right for us. Now, let's connect the dots here a little bit. These are the same people voting for the same politicians who say government is the problem. Yet as soon as the tractors stop running and their profits dry up, government magically turns into a solution for them. Ain't that funny and ironic? The question is, do we owe farmers any help? Or do they need to practice what they preach? Figure it out. Tighten that belt. Leave taxpayers out of it. Because last I checked, it's really not our problem to fix somebody else's gamble.
I tell you what, if the federal government caves in and gives these whining white farmers in Arkansas and all over the country welfare checks that they are crying and begging for because they are dealing with the consequences of their vote, then I hope that the National Black Farmers Association gets together and files a class action lawsuit against the government, just like those white farmers did in 2021 in order to block stimulus aid to black farmers. They sure did. They filed a lawsuit in 2021, white farmers, including those in Arkansas, to bar the federal government from giving a $4 billion stimulus package to black farmers and farmers of color because they felt it was reverse discrimination and it was unconstitutional. Well, if the federal government turns around and gives them money, then yes, National Black Farmers Association, please get together and file the biggest lawsuit that you can against the federal government.
Arkansas farmers and beyond have fucked around and found out. You overwhelmingly voted for something that you thought you'd get, but you don't get, right? Your business is failing. Now you got to file for bankruptcy or go with your little hands out and say, please help me. Well, if I start a business and it fails, I can't just go say, give me a handout, please. It don't work that way. And now you want our tax dollars to pay for it. Won't happen. You're not going to get the help you're looking for. You chose what you got, not us. If I need help, I'm just screwed. I can't do shit about it. File for bankruptcy and hope for the best is all I can tell you. And your beans and your vegetables, by the time they get to me, they got so many pesticides and chemicals on it, it makes me sick to eat it. So I don't know what to tell you, but this is your fault. Y'all chose everything you got. You thought you were going to get help, and you were lied to, friend. Good luck.
Sounds to me like a bunch of welfare queens boo-hooing for a handout. Wah. Give me money. Give me money. What do you think, money grows on trees? You need to find those bootstraps and tug. Tug real hard. Frankly, I think it's in God's will. It was put on my heart that the Lord needed to take away your farm because you are a dumb fuck. You literally got everything you voted for. You're a hypocrite, you're an idiot, and I'm glad you're losing your farm. You need to learn a lesson. This is natural selection at work. Soon enough, a huge corporation is going to buy your farmland, and maybe you can come back and pick those crops, out in the sun all day long, hands bleeding. I see that in your future, and it makes me very happy, and I'm not the only one.
This isn't about wishing suffering on anyone. This is about accountability. These voters, they cheered for tariffs that they believed they would be tough on China, but they ignored the experts who warned that the backfire would be on American farmers first. Now the backfire is here, and it is devastating.
People know that I tell people all the time, your life is a culmination of your choices. Not some sky daddy up there puppeteering, not karma, not anything. I mean, it's really just your choices or the choices of other people. We are affected by the choices of other people. I saw a bunch of TikToks about the farmers in Arkansas, and it's so frustrating because we tried to warn them. There was tons of information out there, and people were raising their voices, and we tried to warn them about the consequences. They chose their own consequences. And I'm not a FAFO person. I've said this before. I don't want any human beings to suffer. But when a group of people has willingly oppressed other groups of people, and they allow their just deeply rooted racism to cause them to vote for someone, and now it's, now they're having to suffer the consequences of that. It's really hard for me to have any sympathy for them. You did this to yourself because you were so hell-bent on trying to hurt other people. I mean, it's come full circle. So, and then, I've seen some of the farmers where this one guy was like, well, I'm just leaving it in the hands of Jesus. He's my Lord and Savior. Yeah, he's going to help you as much as he helped people in slavery. And then this other guy was like, Trump said he loved us, and I need to see the fruits of that love. He don't give a fuck about you. The fact that you still have not learned that is just like... But they're out here begging for handouts, from a government, and they hate socialism. They hate any type of help unless it's for them. Fuck everybody else. So yeah, it's hard to have any sympathy for them. And all I can say is, and I've said this so many times in my personal life with friends or whatever, I wish you would have just listened. I wish you would have just listened.
The hypocrisy is clear. For years, MAGA leaders said that they didn't want government handouts. They mocked social programs that help poor families, poor students, black communities, and immigrants. But now, when their farms are on the line, suddenly, government help doesn't sound so bad. So this situation reveals a bigger truth, that racism, blind loyalty, and political ignorance comes with a price. And in Arkansas, the price is bankruptcy.
So I've been seeing a lot of discourse about the Arkansas farmers. And I just want to remind y'all, I made a video talking about within spaces where racist thrives, within Republican parties, there will always be a good for me, but not for the energy. And they are hypocrites. They don't care about looking like hypocrites. But basically what this type of energy really is, y'all, so that you understand, is I run America, we can use these systems. These systems were built specifically and only for us. This is why people are always like, hey, actually, black people are not the most people on food stamps. They know that, y'all, but they believe that the system is built just for those people so they can be on food stamps, but you can't. They can trick the government out of money, but you can't. Good for me, but not for thee.
I saw a news clip about those farmers in Arkansas, and it went something like this, where it said, due to high rising costs and the effects of tariffs, all they can do now is pray. Well, thoughts and fucking prayers, because you could have done a lot more than that. Arkansas, just like so many states in this country, decided to vote overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. His policies of mass deportations now, which got rid of so many people in their workforce. Tariffs, which are now crippling farmers as they cannot get their products into other markets worldwide. And the tariffs as well hitting them double time, because now the equipment they need, the materials, the farm, the machinery is costing them so much their family farms are going to go under. And at this point, I don't care. My give a damn is busted. I understand we need farmers, we need food, we need everything that they do. Great. But I can't help you. So as you're praying to God, please remember that God helps those who help themselves. You could have done something about this. You put yourself in this situation. I cannot stand to hear more belly aching from these weak ass bitchin' farmers. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Get a handle on your life. I don't care if you're from my state of Indiana, Arkansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois. I don't give a shit. I don't want to hear about tariffs and anything like that, and you're surprised of what's going on. Put 2 and 2 together and understand your vote
for Donald Trump was a vote for tariffs and the end of your family farm. So when J.D. Vance and whoever else come in here and scoop it up, you can pray to God, but you can thank yourself.
This is my take on the Arkansas farmers who are pleading for a bailout because they are months away from filing for bankruptcy on their small family farms. We have been here before. The last time Trump was president, there was a $12 billion farmer bailout because of Trump's tariffs. Bailout money comes from taxpayers. A large portion of that bailout money came from my home state of California because we are the fourth largest economy in the world. So California literally helps keep the lights on. We also feed America because we produce the largest amount of agriculture in America. But these farmers knew that Trump was going to put more tariffs on if he were to get back into the White House. He literally campaigned on it. They literally almost lost their family farms back a few years ago because of these same exact tariffs. They knew that was possible and they voted for him anyways. And why shouldn't they when they continue to get bailed out? There will be a farmer bailout package yet again, and this cycle will continue. I just think the bare minimum should be this. If you are a farmer and you have gotten a bailout to save your family farm multiple times over, you just keep your mouth shut about California, because we keep your lights on. You don't have to like us, you don't have to visit us, but just keep your mouth shut about us. Don't talk about our crime rate when y'all got the problem of Little Rock. And save your "it's a blue city and that's why it is what it is." You got 2 red senators and a red governor and a red state legislator. That's who controls the money that funnels through to Little Rock. And they do nothing for the high crime rate of Little Rock. You don't need to go on about Gavin Newsom. He's not your governor. He's not your problem. You should have your own concerns about your own governor, who likes to take trips to Paris on taxpayers' dime. You keep your eyes on your own paper, we'll keep our eyes on our own paper while bailing you out, because that's what California does.
This year, white farmers have had it rough, They have learned that racism is expensive and never wish bad for others, as that might come knocking on your door as well. So here we are, a state that gave Trump one of his biggest victories, now begging for the very socialism they claimed to hate. The irony couldn't be louder. Maybe this is a moment that they finally realizes that it's easy to say that you don't need help until it's you who needs that saving. So the real question is, should we pay for their mistakes or should they live with the consequences of their votes? Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.